Welcome to this episode of Coffee and Beats. I am your musical barista, Rod the Magnificent, back with another episode, and I'm here to talk about a particular topic that has really been of interest to me. I've been hearing a lot of artists talk about this topic, a lot of music artists talk about this, and it's in regards to songs versus albums. But before I get into that, I just want to remind you, hit that subscribe button, hit the follow, hit the bell for notifications, and share with your loved ones, because I'm sure they all love to hear this. And again, just want to put out this kind reminder too, that I have a new podcast, a new sports podcast. So for all of you who are into that good old fashioned sports, I have a new sports podcast called Coffee Break Sports. It is definitely dedicated to all things sports, NFL, NBA, WNBA, any type of sports, or whatever hot topics come into play. I'll be on that platform talking about that. So if you're into that good old fashioned sports, hit those links below. I have the link down there. You can go ahead and click it and hit the follow button. Now that I got that out the way, now that I got my coffee, let's get into this discussion. Albums versus singles. I did a recent poll on my Instagram page, and I asked the simple question: do you prefer albums or do you prefer listening to individual songs? And the results came out just like this. The albums got 70% of the vote, while listening to just individual songs come in at 30%. That's not saying that albums win. And shout out to one of our faithful listeners on Coffee and Beats, Kim Sims, one of our faithful supporters of the show. And she made this comment in the DM. She said, not all albums are bangers. Some albums just have a few songs, and that's it. The reason why I got into this topic is because I watched two interviews recently, and I'm going to play them for you. One is pro song. One interview is pro album. The pro album one I'm going to play for you first, and this is from Earl Sweatshirt, hip hop artist from Chicago who is in LA, former iFuture fame. He had this to say about albums. Due to copyright issues, I wasn't able to post the audio or the video, but I will quote what Earl Sweatshirt said about the album's experience. Earl Sweatshirt says he was staunchly against playlists until he made his very first one recently. I just made my first playlist the other day. I was staunchly against playlists. They're a threat to the album, and the album is like an institution. You might hate those songs initially, but then through repetition of listening to this album, now you start to at least become familiar with the artist's body of work. You start to acquire the taste. So even if it's not your favorite thing, you're still endeavoring to understand this person's complete idea. And with playlists, he muses, there's less work. It's all highlight reel. Very interesting, right? Very, very good perspective of listening to albums. Now, we're going to go to another interview. Pinkpantheress, a newer artist, one of the more younger, on the rise, TikTok viral artists, so to speak. She had something to say about songs. Let's take a look.
I don't listen to albums, I just listen to songs. I don't listen to albums. That's why when it came to my own album, I was like, do people care about track listing? And
yes, that's like a really big thing.
I couldn't believe it. You know, like when I saw people review my album, some people were like, oh, it's a great album, but the track listing doesn't make sense. I'm like, it's just listen to the song.
So we see two different opinions here between two artists, and I'm leaning towards agreeing with Earl Sweatshirt. And here's my reason. If you come over someone's house and someone cooks for you a full course meal, right? They got the chicken, they got the sides, the mac and cheese, the sweet potatoes, the yams, they got dessert, they got lemon cake, they got pound cake, one area, red velvet cake, and personally my favorite, chocolate cake, right? Chocolate cake. And that person, you invite people over, and all they come, and when they come over, all they do is maybe take a piece of chicken and put it on their plate, and they just go and eat. Or somebody just skip the other things and just go straight for the cake, cut them a slice of cake, and then just put it on their plate. This is all I want. Or they'll just go and just grab the macaroni and cheese, get a big old scoop of macaroni and cheese, go eat their macaroni and cheese, then come back and get some more macaroni and cheese, and it's on repeat, right? So that's what I compare listening to just songs to. A person did all of this hard work. They put all this hard work into putting together an album, but yet all we do is just take one song here, one song there, and put it on a playlist and refer back to that same song over and over again. And a lot of times when artists are putting together albums, it's almost like they're telling a story through their music. So you might listen to a single and you might not like the single, but then when you listen to the album in its entirety and listen to the songs that lead up to that particular single, you start to appreciate the album in its entirety. And then also you understand why the single sounded this way. There are times where you like a single right off the bat, and then you go listen to the album, and then the single doesn't really blend in with the rest of the album. You can tell that the managers are probably pushing the artist to put out a more commercial song to push the album. So you have those type of situations too. But at the end of the day, one of the things that when it comes to music, when it comes to listening to albums, you're basically getting the vision of the artist. You are seeing what the artist is building. You see what the artist's thoughts are. You see what the artist is going through mentally at the time of putting this project together. And then you get a deeper meaning of what the album is all about. You get the deeper meaning of the flow of the album, and you start to get a personal connection with that particular artist. But on the other hand, I will highlight this about just listening to songs. When listening to singles, they let you quickly enjoy the immense hard work of an artist. For example, I'm gonna use Beyonce, right? Beyonce is known for her singles being grandiose, having a huge presentation behind it, and there's always an extravagant chorus, right? And she has all of these writers and producers all for just one song, and we all take it in and we love it, and it's being played over and over again to the point where some get tired of it, and then others are going to continue to make a defense to it. Most notably the Beehive. Some people like to just capture a mood. Also, some people just like to get a vibe or a short message at a short time, and making it like a more perfect on-the-go type of experience, which is quick and satisfying, so to speak. So that's all that I will highlight when it comes to a person that might just only listen to songs. They're getting the best of multiple artists within a short period of time, rather than just listening to one artist's material for a whole entire day or a whole entire week just to get a feel for it, while at the same time you're missing out on singles after singles after singles that are being dropped by other artists. But if you are a music head and you like to dig deep into music per se, then you're gonna be one of those people that doesn't mind dedicating maybe an hour to one artist and listening to their work. Also have EPs as well. There's another crowd that likes to just listen to EPs. EPs are shorter album versions that might be 3 or 4 songs, and I love EPs. These really whet your appetite for what's to come from an artist who will later drop an album. But again, each and every way or format of listening to music has its advantages. Don't feel like you have to be subjected to listening to full albums when an artist drops an album, or don't feel subjected or don't feel guilty when someone gets on you about just listening to songs and not taking in an artist's whole entire body of work. There's nothing wrong with that. You're listening to the music at the end of the day. The artist, whether it's a full album, a EP, or a single, they want you to listen to it regardless. So if you listened, they're winning. Just remember that and support good artists. And I just wanted to get on the mic and just say that there are a lot of artists out there that don't get the type of same support that more commercial artists get. Take your time. When you find an artist that is not known, spread the word. Let other people know about them. You might be a person that only likes singles, but you might like a single of an artist's song that might not be known to many people. Spread the word. Let them know. New artists appreciate that. And you know what? They'll DM you or they'll reply to your whatever post that you put on social media appreciating their song. And so each one has its advantages and disadvantages, but at the end of the day, it's just music. It's there for our enjoyment, whether it's a full album, an EP, or just a single. And that will do it for this edition of Coffee and Beats. I am your musical barista, Rod the Magnificent. I'll be back with some more album reviews. We are entering in the final section of the year, of the music year. I got a lot of albums that I do have opinions on, that I do want to share on this platform. So be patient with me. I'm just getting behind the mic, had a busy schedule over the last couple of months, so haven't been getting a chance to really sit down and get behind the mic. And so please feel free to sit down and watch a lot of my older episodes or enjoy this one. And again, I am your musical barista, Rod the Magnificent. When it comes to coffee, when it comes to music, stay grounded for life. I'll see you guys on the next episode. Peace.